rehearsal is to be redundant. How many know Yahweh is extremely repetitious and extremely redundant, because we are not the adults of Israel, we are the children of Israel, and we're not the adults of Yahweh, we are the children of Yahweh, which means by definition we do occasionally do spiritual poo-poo in our pants. And in order for us to mature and stay alert and not sleep like some of y'all from week to week, Yahweh makes sure that we rehearse, and he is extremely repetitious, and he goes, I've got to put this repetition in your life so you know the complete picture of the good news and the coming kingdom, lest you forget from year to year, let alone from month to month. So by definition, a lot of the things you know, you should know. But especially if you're a new Israelite, okay, this will be a time of understanding and of revelation. So there's a little bit of everything for everybody. Turn to your neighbor and say, a little bit of everything for everybody. Let's try that again. Oh, yeah. A little bit of everything for everybody. 1 Thessalonians and chapter 4, verse 16. For this we say to you, verse 15, by the Devar Yahweh, that we the living who are left over at the coming of the Mashiach shall in no way precede or go before those who are dead, asleep. Because the Master himself shall come down from the heavens with a shout, with the voice of the chief messenger, with the shofar of Elohim. Notice, it's not Bnei Yeshua's shofar, and it's not yours. Yahweh has a shofar. Yeah. And he's going to use it when he sends his son to return to the earth. Isn't that neat? So you want to be like Yeshua? Here's a good start. Get a shofar. Because Yahweh has a shofar. And he's going to blow. He's not going to borrow yours, honey. He's going to blow his own shofar when it comes to sending back his son a second time, apart from sin, to those who look for deliverance. Amen. Okay, so now what's going to happen? He's going to come with the shofar of Elohim. The dead in Moshiach, who believing dead, will rise first. Then, when? Then, when? Then, after the believing dead, we wait our turn. We who are alive, we who are living or left over, shall be caught away together in the clouds to meet Yahshua in the air. Get that in your spirit. We're not flying away in the rapture bus. Now this verse has been misconstrued and mistwisted. We are being caught up in the air to get changed in our new, immortal, glorified, physical, resurrected bodies. Those who are alive will be caught up, and together we will meet the Master in the air. The Greek word is aire, where we get the Spanish word aire, as in Buenos Aires. The Greek word for heaven is celestiae, the same word in Spanish, celestial. We are not caught up to heaven. We are caught up to get changed. And Yahweh will change us, and then we will come to earth with Yeshua to rule and reign. On this day, we are going to get changed. You can look at Yom Teruah as the changing day. This is a day where we're going to change clothes. We're going to put off this corruptible body, and we're going to be clothed with his incorruptible, immortal, glorified body. Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So we'll meet the Master in the air, and so look at the end of verse 17, 1 Thessalonians 4:17. So shall we ever be with the Master. So then, so what? So then what? So then encourage each other with these words. How are we to encourage each other? With the words, the fact that one day, whether we're dead or living, we will rise to be like Yeshua. For 1 Yochanan 3:2 says, brethren, it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And so that resurrection is part A and part B. Religion has taken part B and called it a rapture, because they can't understand how Yahweh will take the believing, the living believers to the air to give them their new glorified resurrected bodies, their kingdom bodies, and rather than take them to heaven. So they've separated part B of the righteous resurrection and called it a rapture. That's the same mentality that separates non-Jews from Israel.
Come on.
To the Greco-Roman mindset, everything has to be separate. The body is evil. The spirit is good. Where in Hebraic thought, no, the whole body, soul, and spirit is all good. And they're all one package. Are you with me? How many are with me? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. You better be with me. If you're not with me, there's only one other dude you can be with. There aren't but two papas. So I know you're with me. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Now look at 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But now, brothers, or is that us? Israel, brothers. As to the times and the seasons, what's the Hebrew word for seasons? Moadim. You do not need me to write to you because you yourselves know that the return or the day of Yahweh comes as a thief in the night. To them, when they say shalom v'bitachon, then suddenly destruction will come upon them. But verse 4, brothers, you are not in darkness, that day should overtake you, because you are the sons of light and the sons of the day. We are the light of the not of the darkness. In other words, he's saying, Israel, Thessalonians, non-Jewish Israel, I've taught you about the Moadim. I've taught you about the seasons. I've taught you about the times of Vayikra 23. When Yeshua returns, you won't be sleeping, you won't be at Carvel, you won't be at the auto mechanic, and you won't be getting your driver's license renewed.
Come on now.
Because I don't got to tell you, you are the children of light. You are the sons of light.
Come on now.
I don't need to tell you to get ready, because that day, the return of Yeshua on Yom Teruah, or the Day of Trumpets, will overtake them who are in the world, who are in unbelief, who are walking against Yahweh, whether by atheism or religion, same thing in Yahweh's eyes. That day is going to overtake them as a thief in the night. But brother, you're a Moed boy. You're a Moed girl. You're already in season. When Rav Shaul told Timothy, now here's how you preach the good news of the kingdom. You preach it in season and out of season. So Christianity goes, whoa boy, I gotta be ready all the time. No, you don't. Sometimes you can rest. What that meant in Hebraic mindset is, whether it's Yom Teruah or it's not a Moed, you've got to be ready. In season means what? During the Moadim. Out of season means any other day that's not considered a Moed. Brethren, that day should not overtake us, because we are not in darkness. We are the sons of light, and as such, we are in rehearsal. So pardon me if some of this is going to be repetition. Yahweh is a very repetitive Yahweh. If Yahweh did not need to repeat himself, I get this all the time, Brother Moshe, I love your teaching, brother. But I've got something, I got to tell you something. Sometimes you just choke on showing y'all, you call y'all down, he's cute. You just repeat yourself all the time. Stop repeating. My wife telling me that sometimes. Stop repeating yourself. But then I realized that if we didn't need to have repetition, which is the key of good teaching, then the Bible, the scriptures would not have the book of Devarim.
Come on now.
Which is nothing but a repetition of the first 4 books. And the Brit Hadashah would not have the book of Romania, because everything else is already in the Gospels, so we wouldn't need Romania to summarize what was in the Gospels. It is because we need repetition that Yahweh gives us these feasts to keep us alert and awake and on our toes, because when Yeshua returns, we're going to be rehearsing. The day Yeshua returns, and if we are still alive, we will not be in the gas line. We will not be at the ATM. Turn to your neighbor and say, you won't be at the ATM. Shouldn't be there anyway. It's a Shabbat. It's an annual Moed. You know where you'll be? You'll be in rehearsal. Okay? So that day cannot overtake us. It cannot possibly overtake us, because we will be in rehearsal for the return of Yahshua. Encourage one another with these words. How are we as Israel to encourage one another? With the words of rapture? No, with the words of resurrection. Okay? Now, if the words of rapture were comforting, How come people fight? Churches split? Friends don't talk to each other? Because I'm post, mid, pre-trip, post, mid, post, boop. Then we get into boxeo profesional. Well, it's supposed to be so comforting and so exhorting, and we got all these splits, divisions, all right? Because this is a very divisive issue. When is the rapture? After all, I mean, I love my brother, but if it comes to killing him, a good time to kill him is over the rapture. Mid-trib, post-trib, then we have a new one, pre-wrath. Then we have the other Meshuggah on, pan-trib. What's pan-trib? Whatever pans out, who cares? That's like a default judgment. You know, it's like kissing your sister. You don't win, you don't lose, you don't even get goosebumps. All right? So now that's the new one, pan-trib. I don't know, I'm not that smart, whatever pans out. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. But in Hebraic thought, it is that, look, this and that. Okay, we are in this age, are we not? Are we not in this age? How do we get to the next age? Very simple. Get washed in the blood of Yeshua, Revelation 14:12, and keep his commandments. Wow, that's really hard. So in other words, to go from this age into that age, what do? We get washed in the blood of Yeshua, and we keep his commandments. Very well, the Torah. There's this and there's that. There's no mid-trib, pre-trib, post-trib, dividing Yahweh's time, his eternal time, into little divisions. We don't have right to divide time into our divisions. We don't have that right. Yahweh hasn't given us that right. How do we get to the Olam Haba, the next age? We get righteousness, saved, and forgiven. Where? In this age. Make sense? So brothers, that day should not overtake you. Because we are not in darkness. We not only are in the light, we are the sons of the light. That's what it means. Look at verse 1. Brothers, of the times in the Moadim, I don't have to write to you because you know very well that they will come suddenly. And if you're in rehearsal and you know the times and you know the seasons, you don't need me to tell you when Yahshua is going to return. Why? Because you know yourself. He's going to return on Yom Teruah. You know the day he's going to return. The only thing you're missing is the year. You know the season, but not the day of the hour. The pagans don't know the day, the hour, or the season. I'll say that again. Pagans don't know the day, the hour, or the season. Brethren, you don't know that. You know the times and the seasons, but you don't know the day and the hour. But don't worry, if you know the season, you'll find the day and the hour, because you'll be awake for the day and the hour, and you won't be sleeping for that day and the hour. Are we on? Are we going? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. And you know what's so neat? Look at verse 6. So then, 1 Thessalonians 5:6. So then, we should not sleep. What does it mean to be sleeping, religiously speaking? Don't tell me you have that means you have a pillow under your head and you have a chiropractic mattress. To be sleeping means you claim Yeshua as your Savior, but you're not following the times and the seasons and the Torah that tells you how to be alert. Make any sense? So can you be a believer and be sleeping in Zion? Yes, and what does Yahweh say? Woe to those who sleep in Zion. Because not only don't you know the day and the hour, you don't even know the season. Because rather than being in rehearsal, because one of these rehearsals, listen, one of these rehearsals is going to turn into the real thing.
Hallelujah. Amen.
And I'll guarantee you, you will get left behind. Not to heaven, but to the air. You won't get changed if you're not in rehearsal. That's what the 10 virgins are all about. 10 tribes of Israel. 5 think they're right on. 5 know they're right on. And the 5 that think they're right on, the master comes and they are asleep and they go and look to buy oil to trim their lamps, and there's no oil, there's no wick, there's nothing. They are caught asleep because somebody told them that the feasts were Jewish holidays. Somebody told them that the feasts were Jewish holidays. Now, if you think we're doing this because it's a Jewish holiday, you don't know Yahweh and you don't know the Miami Beach Israel Revival.
Hallelujah. That's right.
We're doing it because he is Yahweh and we are Israel, his people. And Yahweh says in Vayikra 23, these are my feasts, saith Yahweh. They don't belong to Ephraim or Yehuda or anybody. They are his feasts. So his people guard, and that's not, the Hebrew word is shomer. That doesn't mean hang out. It means guard, shomer. Guard my feast, watch my feast, observe my feast. There's not one person in this room that'll miss the coming of Yeshua on Yom Teruah. Yeshua's coming, and he's coming on Yom Teruah. There's not one person in this room who's going to miss it. Why? Because Yahweh willing, if he keeps you in good health and good spirits, and if whatever condition you're in, you're going to be in rehearsal next year. And you're going to be hearing the same thing next year. And the same thing the year after that. Now you're getting the point. So Yahweh wants to get repetitive to keep you alert, awake, and ready for the return of his blessed Son from heaven who delivers us from the wrath to come, somebody.
Hallelujah.
He will deliver us from the wrath to come. He won't take us away from the tribulation of men, but he will protect us from the wrath to come.
Hallelujah.
So Yahshua is coming. Now this Moed, Yom Teruah, is held the first day of the 7th month. Like the Shabbat, it speaks prophetically about the time when Yeshua returns to begin the what? 7th millennium since creation. Okay? So this day is looking forward to the time. Why is it the first day of the 7th month? Because when is Yeshua going to return? At the dawn of the Atid Lavo, or the 7th millennium since Adam. Do I believe Adam and Eve, the human race, is 7,000 years old? No. I believe that, well, let me change that. Sorry, pardon me. I believe the human race is almost 7,000 years old, but the earth is billions of years old. Between Bereshis 1:1 and 1:2, there could be billions and billions of years. But the human race is entering the 7th. So Yahweh says, when you are in rehearsal in the 7th month, that means you're looking forward. The 7th month is a type of the 7,000 set of years since the creation of Adam ve Chava. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Yom Teruah also represents a cognitive declaration that Yahweh is monarch of the universe, and that year by year, this is neat, that we coronate his son. You see? An earthly king, how many times do they experience coronation? Once in a lifetime. Why? Because you're just an earthly king, and one of these days they're going to crow. All right? Now, Yahshua, he that died will not die again. He will come again. He lives forever after the pattern of an endless life. So, if we are in season, turn to your neighbor and say, get in season. If we are in season, that means every Yom Teruah, since the king may not come this year because there are prophecies that still need to be fulfilled. So then, what can we do this Yom Teruah? Now, we can grieve at the fact that our sister Miriam is going to Dominica, but Yahweh doesn't want us to grieve as those who have no hope. We love her. We wish her well. We'll always be with her. And she'll always be with us. But what are the words we are to comfort each other with? We are to take every Yom Teruah, listen, and coronate the king. Every year we place him on our hearts and we say, Yeshua, I am in rehearsal. You determine when. I have determined to show up. I'll be there. So what is Yom Teruah all about? Every Yom Teruah, Feast of Trumpets, we take another opportunity to crown the king in our lives. Say, Father, I'm not out there in the pagan world. I'm not out there with the religious crowd. I'm not making my own calendar. I'm not making my own times. I'm not making my own seasons. Father, if you send Yeshua on this Yom Teruah or next Yom Teruah or the following Yom Teruah, I'll be ready because I will use this season in my life and in your set-apart day to coronate and crown your son the same way you will coronate him and crown him when he rules and reigns from Jerusalem. Does any of this make sense? To that about Yahweh. So each Yom Teruah, we exalt Yeshua as king and coronate him during this festival. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. The theme of Yom Teruah is the kingship of Yahweh. And we look forward to the future when all humanity recognizes him at his return. Amen. Do you think the world is going to recognize who Yeshua is? When he resurrects the entire dead? Did you know that? You know Yeshua will resurrect every dead person that ever lived? Did you know that? You don't have to be saved to get resurrected. You have to be saved to get resurrected to righteousness. But whether you're righteous or not righteous, saved or lost, you're going to come out of the grave. Yeshua said the hour is coming and now is when all who are sleeping in the graves will hear the voice of the Son of Yahweh. And those that have done good, to life eternal. Those that have done rasha, they will go to damnation. Everybody's rising from the dead. So this day we commemorate the fact that the King alone will raise every person who ever lived on this earth, good, bad, or indifferent, are going to come out of the grave to stand before Yahshua the King. And brethren, we are not the children of darkness, that day should overtake us, but we are children of the light, children of the resurrection. Walk in the light as he is in the light, and then we'll have Yom Teruah Moed fellowship one with another. Are we with me? You understand what 1 Thessalonians is all about? Now, a Greco-Roman Sunday mindset could read that and go, oh, he's just telling the Thessalonians to be ready for the rapture. Because the rapture could happen at any time. Read my lips, Bubba. It ain't happening at no time.
Come on now.
No, people get angry at me. They walked out. Hey, I'm not for sale. I paid too great a price to follow Yeshua. I'll tell you the truth. What they call the rapture is part B of the first resurrection. That's all it is. But like that system is done, they separated Jew and Gentile. They separated Sunday from Shabbat. So they've separated the spirit from the body. When everything is made by Yahweh, everything is good, everything is tov. Nothing's wrong with the body. If you use it for good sex in marriage, you could have good sex. If you use it illicitly or improperly, you'll die and your partner will die. No problem. So the Hebraic mind sees all things in a composite sum. You understand? It doesn't separate body, soul, and spirit, which is why Rav Shaul said, may Yahweh preserve your whole body, soul, and spirit blameless to the coming of Yeshua. You follow me? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So Yom Teruah is a time when we coronate the King again in our lives. It's a time we know Yeshua is going to come. It's a time that we're not ignorant about. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Yeshayahu 40, Isaiah 40, 10, 11. Yahweh comes with power. His arm rules for him. His reward is with him. And his recompense accompanies him. Have you ever read Revelation 22? What did Yeshua say? My reward is with me. Really. So the whole world looks for rewards, what? In people, places, and things. The reward is coming with Yeshua. He's quoting, Revelation 22 is quoting Isaiah, Yeshayahu 40 and 10. It says his arm. Who's the arm of Yahweh? Who's the Zroa Netuyah, the arm of salvation, the arm of deliverance is Moshiach. Moshiach is coming and his reward, Yeshayahu 40:10, is with him. His recompense accompanies him. I'm glad he's going to recompense me and not man. David said, I would rather fall into the hands of the living Yahweh than into the hands of man. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. He's coming. Yeshua is coming. Go to Tehillim 47. In Tehillim 47, Tehillim, Psalms 47, we see 7 times that it speaks of the coronation of the king. 7 times. This is called a coronation psalm, giving acclamation to the king of Israel. It has been historically read. I love it. Notice, listen. It has been historically read when a king of Israel was crowned, either the house of Yehudah or the house of Ephraim Israel. Whenever a king was coronated, what were the 2 things they would do? Right. Good. Glad you said that. I'm glad everybody's alive today. What were the 2 things they would do? A, read Psalm 47. Okay, like, you know, in our modern day, we have the president put his hand on the Biblia, right? In those days, they read and recited, yea, even chanted Psalm 47, which is called the coronation psalm of the king. And then, no problem. Then could the king go to bed after he was installed in office through coronation? Huh? No. What did they have the king do? They got out a scroll of the Torah, and he had to write the whole Torah by hand. Boy, wouldn't that be something? He had to write the entire Torah by hand. Yeah. Yeah. He is definitely here. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Hallelujah. Okay, let's look at Tehillim 47. Clap your hands, all you people. Sister Melba, that's a confirmation. Shout to Elohim with a voice of singing. For Yahweh Most El Elyon is awesome, a great sovereign. Circle those words. Over all the earth. He subdues people under us, nations under our feet. He chooses our inheritance for us. You see, you don't choose what days you worship and show up. He does. That's why they are the fixed times, the appointed times, the Moadim. You want to be a real believer, then you need to let him fix the steps of your life. For it is written, the steps of a righteous man are ordered by Yahweh. You let him fix your steps, order your steps, design your steps, lead your steps, follow you. He shall be my shepherd. I shall follow him all and be in his house all the days of my life. Goodness and mercy shall follow me if I follow him. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Sing praises to Elohim. I'm sorry, go back to 5. 4. The excellence of Yaakov whom he loves, Selah. Elohim will go up with a shout. Hello? Going up where? Where's Elohim going up? I thought Yahweh already is in heaven. This talks about when Yeshua returns. And he raises the dead and takes us into the air with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, with the shofar of Yahweh. This is when the king coronates his children, because we in season have coronated the king. Hallelujah. This is the day. Turn to your neighbor and say, this is the day. See, this has nothing to do with Benny Hinn. This is your day. This is the day you get a chance to crown your king, even as he will crown you on this very day. He is going to lift you up off the earth to crown you, because you've already crowned him in your life. It's going to happen this day. I don't have to pray about it. I don't have to meditate about it. I don't have to liturgize over it. It's going to happen today. The only question is, will you be in rehearsal or will you be sleeping in seal? It's going to happen today. See, and if we keep with the program and the repetition and Yahweh repeating the same things to us, meaning we're going to be alert, we're going to be prepared. He knows we need guidance. He knows we need discipline. He knows we need direction in our lives. We can't just pick our own Shabbat, pick our own Moadim, pick our own place of worship. I tell people here all the time, they try to leave and squeeze and walk out. And when Rabbi Moshe teaches too hard and they get offended, I tell them, don't worry, I'm not worried about you. You know why I'm not worried about you? Because if Yahweh put you here, when you try to leave, you won't be able to. Hallelujah! And you know something else? If Yahweh hasn't put you here, when you try to stay, you won't be able to. Hallelujah! If Yahweh hasn't put you here, when you try, you won't be able to stay. So I'm not worried. See, my job is easy. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. Matisyahu 11:28-30. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. In other words, Yahweh says, I will share my glory with no one, including Rabbi Moshe. Therefore, now wait a second. Let me get this straight, Father. Now you and I are in business, all right? I'm in the Father's business, all right? We're in business together. Just call it Yeshua and Son. Now, if I'm in the Father's business,